In riding a Sportive or a Gran Fondo like the Maratona delle Dolomites for example, you're going to be pushing your body to its very limits. So riding blindly into it without so much as a plan isn't a very good idea.
Conversely, just having some simple strategies in place is going to help ensure you get the most out of yourself and make the whole day a lot more memorable, for all the right reasons.
Definitely.
Getting your pacing right is absolutely crucial if you don't want to run out of energy, hit the wall or bonk towards the end, or even worse still, not make it to the finish line at all. So don't get drawn into racing, particularly early on in the event, or even making sure that you stick with a group that's actually going slightly too fast for your own comfort. And actually that's quite easy to do when you're riding around with loads of other people.
It certainly is, and it will actually require a fair degree of self-discipline to do this, because it may actually feel that you're backing off just a little bit too much, but stick with it. And for the first half or 2/3 of the event, ride well within yourself, and then when you're feeling good, pick up the pace towards the end.
By all means though, go in with a group that is of a similar ability to you. Sharing the workload on the front will help you to save energy when you're sitting behind the wheels. Just make sure you're not too enthusiastic by doing too much on the front.
Most Sportives will have some degree of climbing, and if you're attempting the Maratona for example, there'll be 4,230 metres of vertical ascent in the long event.
So as you can see, measuring your efforts on the climbs is going to be crucial. So you should start each and every one steadily and well within your own capabilities. Also make sure you use your gears until you're at the point where you're at a reasonably comfortable cadence and at a tempo that is sustainable in the long term. And finally, as we said before, make sure that you're not tempted to try and follow faster riders. All this is going to do is lead you to going into the red and into oxygen debt, which is really hard to recover from. You might want to drop back a bit, Matt.
Sorry, mate. Now, a good tip to help break the climb down mentally is to focus on a point up the road about 300 or 400 metres, say a landmark, a tree or a sign or something, and work within yourself to that point before refocusing on another point further up the climb. It really does work. You're not going to be able to execute your other strategies if you don't get your fueling right. So first up, especially if you're using energy products, never use something new on the day of your Sportive. Make sure that your digestive system is comfortable well before your event.
Yeah, so on to the strategy itself. It is quite a good idea to increase your intake of carbohydrates in the last couple of days leading up to your event. That way you will ensure that you maximise your glycogen stores, which are going to give you a bit of extra endurance on the day. And in terms of the breakfast on the morning of the event, you want to keep it fairly light if possible. No fat, and a good example of this is cereals, porridge, toast and fruit.
The aim of the day is to try and keep hold of as much fuel as possible. A tough call, as we burn fuel when riding quicker than we can take it in and process it. So little and often is the key. A carbohydrate electrolyte mix in your bottle is a good idea, as you'll be hydrating at the same time as taking in fuel.
A rough guide, temperature dependent of course, is to consume one 750 millilitre bottle of carbohydrate mix and one piece of food per hour. This will give you around 90 grams of carbohydrates, which is about as much as your digestive system can process.
It can be very easy to get overawed at the rather challenging task at hand, especially if it's one of your first ever events, and even more so if it's particularly hilly or mountainous. So rather than think of the entire event, which can be very daunting, try and break it down in your mind into bite-sized chunks.
Yeah, a great way to do this is to study in detail the entire route before you actually start the event. And you can even make a handy little map with small parts at set distances that you can tick off in your mind as you go. So they could be feed zones or maybe the tops of climbs, etc. That way each one of those points is going to feel like a mini achievement as you gradually wind your way to the finish.
Well, good luck putting those strategies into action, and let us know how you got on in your event in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, you can click on the globe, and that way you won't miss another video.
Now, as well as getting your strategy right on the day of the event and the 2 days previous, you also want to make sure that you're preparing yourself well on the lead up. So in the bottom corner in that direction are 5 killer training sessions for Sportives. Or if you want a step-by-step plan for the Marathon of the Les Dolomites, you can find that video just down here.
And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up too.